So here we are again, April, a day later after I made my last video on snow harvesting swales, and it's snowing again. Unbelievable. It's worth noting that not only are swales really effective at harvesting snow, but one thing that happens when we start to harvest rainwater in this way is typically when we'll set up a swale, we also are going to plant it to trees. We're going to plant it to something that has edge. Look at the dendritic pattern on that tree right there. Okay, and if you've ever lived in the country where there are fence posts and barbed wires, what's really interesting, or even driven through the country, is that something as small as a barbed wire will actually harvest snow. And so imagine how much snow something like this little shrub right here will harvest when wind with snow is running through it. And so in permaculture we've got this principle that says maximize edge, and I actually prefer the statement optimize edge, because sometimes you actually want to minimize edge, sometimes you want to maximize it. Just as a side note, when you're building in ultra cold climates like ours, we actually want to minimize the amount of edge, because when we maximize edge, we actually increase the amount of heat loss. So optimize edge is a much better approach for thinking about permaculture principles as opposed to maximizing edge. So coming back to snow though, and edges, living in a climate like this is absolutely extraordinary, because we have the ability to take our annual snowfall, let's call it 100 centimeters, which is equivalent to about 100 millimeters of rainfall, and we can absolutely amplify the amount of moisture that falls on our property, because snow is light and it blows around. And so when we optimize edge on our properties by harvesting the water that comes in with swales, rain gardens, whatever we can do to keep the snow on the property long enough so that when it melts, it infiltrates into the ground, those new edges that form, I'll call them shelter belts, trees, fences, whatever it is that we're putting up on our property is going to increase the amount of snow that our property catches, thus increasing the amount of moisture that our property receives on an annual basis. So theoretically, a property with more edge in this climate, or an optimized edge, will actually receive more precipitation on an annual basis, truly through just the process of having more snow captured as a result of it falling out of the airstream, because we're creating some friction with these dendritic patterns called trees. And if that doesn't blow your mind, you probably need to watch this video again, because that's absolutely astounding. That is basically the beginning stage of an upward spiral. And so an upward spiral is essentially when we create one action in a system and it leads to additional actions as a result of that action happening in the first place. So the action of changing the shape of the earth by putting in a swale so that we capture some of the overland flow, which allows more trees to grow. Those trees then capture more snow, which then increases the amount of precipitation on an annual basis, which then makes the trees grow faster, which grows more snow, and it just goes upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards. And then as a result of those trees being there, soil carbon levels will go up because of the exudates from the plant roots as a result of photosynthesis. More soil carbon equals more water harvesting through the summer, because soil carbon is ostensibly just a sponge. And just to kind of put that into perspective, a 1% increase in soil carbon will increase the amount of water holding capacity on an acre of land by 144,000 liters, which again, mind blown. Think about that for a second. So multiply that times 160, which is the size of a quarter section. So if a farmer can increase the amount of soil carbon in his soil by 1% on a quarter section, that's 160 times 144,000, which is nothing short of amazing. And That's really where this all has to go. That's how we're going to fix the carbon cycle. That's how we're going to prevent droughts, or how droughts didn't occur in the past before we intervened with these ecosystems. But now we've intervened, and so it's our job to go in there and clean up our room. That's basically what this amounts to. We've made a mess, we know that we've made a mess, and we also know how to clean our mess up. And what I love about permaculture is that it gives us the tools and the processes and the ideas to do that. So if you want to get going on your permaculture design and you want access to our professional tools, the tools that I use when I'm working for clients, you can get access to a free contour map at contourmapgenerator.com, which is going to allow you to map out the water and how it flows across your property. Once you have that, you'll then get access to our professional tools, which live within Google Earth Pro, another free program that we use to design properties for our clients. Once you've got that, you literally just have to go through it step by step by step, and you can digitally design your own property. And not only that, the really cool thing with this program is that it allows you to do your design and then have an implementation plan. And then as you're implementing, inevitably changes are going to occur because of these upward spirals. So all of a sudden, you'll notice that one spot on your farm or property is wetter than you expected it to be in the past. And as a result, there's an opportunity for you to make a course correction. So it's also a management tool that you can use going forward to continue to improve the design of your property as you make those shifts into the future. So hopefully you found that interesting, guys. I love making these videos for you. If you have any specific topics you want us to cover, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those there as well. And I'll leave a link to the contour map generator in the show notes below, so you can get your free map and free design tools. And we'll see you guys in the next video.